Assalamu alaikum and greetings. We from Group 4 of Set 5, subject EPPM2133 Research Method, will present our research topic regarding the effect of employee well-being on organizational productivity. First and foremost is our research background. The well-being of employees has a major impact on productivity, work happiness, and overall business success. Thus, this factor is continuously growing in importance within organizational research. Employee well-being is more than just an ethical principle that organizations are obliged to satisfy. It is also a competitive advantage for organizations, especially in the present fast-paced and competitive workforce. Organizational well being is a multifaceted notion that comprises work life balance, job satisfaction, mental, physical, and emotional health. An employee's general well being is influenced by a variety of factors, such as workplace culture, leadership styles, work environment, job demands, and employee engagement. Organizations that emphasize high levels of employee well-being foremost have reported reduced absenteeism, improved job performance, and higher employee retention rates, according to recent studies. On the other hand, low employee well-being, which is normally distinguished by stress, burnout, job discontent, and poor mental health, can result in worse organizational efficiency, more turnover, and lower productivity. Organizations that disregard employee well-being frequently deal with high medical expenses, discontented employees, and a drop in overall productivity. Furthermore, the significance of employee well-being has been recognized by the growth of work from home and hybrid work arrangements. Although flexible work schedules give workers more freedom, it often brings them new problems, such as social isolation, trouble coordinating between personal and work obligations, and digital exhaustion due to the workload. Companies must modify their well-being initiatives to take into account these new issues by putting in place some guidelines that help to promote good mental health, encourage collaboration, and provide a feeling of community among these remote workers. In light of this, the research aims to investigate the direct and indirect effects of employee well-being on organizational productivity. It seeks to evaluate the main factors that influence employee well-being, how businesses consequently approach and tackle the issue, and the quantifiable impacts it has on performance metrics like productivity, creativity, and profitability.
Okay, so now we're going to move to the problem statement. Employee well-being, which includes physical and mental health, job satisfaction, and work-life balance, is strongly linked to organizational productivity, engagement, and performance. A supportive work culture can lead to fewer absences, higher moral, and better outcomes. However, many organizations still face difficulties in implementing effective well-being initiatives and understanding their impact. This research aimed to explore the connection between well-being and productivity while identifying key challenges and areas for improvement. So we're going to talk about the main problems. Firstly is the understanding the relationship between employee well-being and productivity. One of the central issues to be examined is understanding how employee well-being directly impact organizational productivity. It would look at how improvements in areas like physical health, job satisfactions, and work-life balance can boost individual performance and overall outcomes. This insight is essential for organizations to justify investing in well-being initiative. Next, for challenges in fostering well-being, many organizations struggle to promote employee well-being effectively. Common challenges including limited resource, lack of leadership support, rigid workplace culture, and resistance to change. This research aims to explore these barriers and offer practical strategies to help organizations improve well-being and boost productivity. So next we're going to move to the related sub-problems, which are employees' engagement and motivation, also health and absenteeism. So first we're going to talk about employee engagement and motivations. A key area of focus is how employee well-being influences engagement and motivations. This research will explore whether better well-being leads to higher motivations, job satisfaction, and overall performance, helping to explain its broader impact on productivity. As for health and absenteeism, another significant sub-issue is the connection between well-being and health-related issues like absenteeism. Poor physical or mental health often leads to more sick days, which can hurt productivity. This research will look at how better employee well-being can reduce absenteeism and improve overall performance. Okay, so now we're going to talk about justify why these problems need to be addressed and what the consequences of not addressing them. So, under the main problems, which is understanding the connection between employees' well-being and organizational productivity, the justification is tackling these challenges is key to improving well-being, which plays a direct role in organizational success. Well-being isn't just about better work conditions, it's closely linked to performance, job satisfaction, and long-term growth. Ignoring it can lead to real consequences for both employees and also organizations. Consequences of not addressing it: ignoring employee well-being can cause organizations to overlook its impact on performance. Without recognizing this issue, they may miss out on programs that reduce turnover, boost engagement, and improve efficiency, leading to low morale, more absenteeism, and reduced profitability. As for challenges in promoting employee well-being within organizations, for the justification, promoting employee well-being means tackling internal challenges like limited resources, resistance to change, and lack of support. Overcoming this issue helps create a healthier, more supportive workplace, leading to better engagements, higher retention, and also improved productivity. The consequences of not addressing it: if these challenges aren't addressed, well-being programs may face low participations, lack of support, and eventually fail, wasting resources and missing the chance to improve morale and performance. This can lead to more stress, burnout, and turnover, creating a negative and disengaged work environment. Okay, so now we're going to move to the next part, which is sub-problems, and under the sub-problems, which are employee engagement and motivations, and also health and absenteeism. So for employee engagement and motivations, for the justifications, engaged and motivations employees are the key to productivity and success. Well-being initiatives that support them can boost performance, spark innovations, and create a more positive and committed work environment where people go to the extra mile. The consequences of not addressing it is overlooking the link between well-being and engagement can lead to low motivations, poor performance, and less innovations. Disengaged employees are more likely to burn out, take more sick days, and eventually leave the organizations. So for the health and absenteeism, for the justifications, employee well-being plays a key role in reducing absenteeism, which can disrupt work and raise costs. By supporting health through well-being initiatives, organizations can lower sick days, cut expenses, and keep teams performing at their best. So for the consequences of not addressing it, ignoring health and absenteeism issues can lead to a cycle of poor health, more sick days, and lower productivity. This is not only drives up costs but also disrupts teamwork and slow down the overall performance.
In this section, I will present the significance of our research, which explores the effect of employee well-being on organizational productivity. This study holds importance for businesses, policymakers, and academics by highlighting how investing in employee welfare can drive both performance and growth. Let's look at the 5 key areas of impact. Firstly, the economic and business impact. Research consistently shows that investing in employee well-being leads to higher productivity, which in turn increase profitability and business growth. Healthy employees, both physical and mentally, perform better and contribute more effectively. Secondly, let's talk about organizational significance. When employees feel supported, they are more motivated, engaged, and productive. This leads to a better performance and higher innovation. And the third is the research bring attention to wider societal and health benefit. By improving employee well-being, we can reduce stress and mental health issues while increasing job satisfaction. Work-life balance also improve, reducing the burnout and enhancing quality of life. The fourth is this study offers valuable insight for policy develop and HR strategy. Company can use the finding to create workplace policy that support work-life balance, mental health, and flexible work arrangement. This lead to healthy and also more productive workforce. And finally, last thing is from an academic perspective. This research expands the field of organizational behavior and it builds on models like the JDR, job demand resource, and deepens our understanding of how well-being drives performance. We also propose a more integrated framework linking physical, emotional, mental, and financial well-being with productivity. In conclusion, this research does not just highlight the importance of employee well-being, it shows how deeply connected it is to productivity, organizational success, and even national economic growth. I will share the key insight from the literature review on how employee well-being directly influence organizational performance, especially in today's rapidly changing work environment. Two main theories of this research are the job demands resource model show that high demand without support lead to burnout. Meanwhile, sustainable HRM emphasizes long-term strategy that support growth, autonomy, and meaning. Both show that employee well-being is driver, not a result of organizational success. Although research support the link, many studies are limited to Western setting and short-term data. They often overlook challenges like digital work, hybrid model, and generational diversity. Our study aims to fill this gap with a broader, more adaptable approach. Leadership has a powerful impact on well-being. Supportive leader create trust and resilience, while pure leadership increase stress. A healthy workplace culture encourages inclusion, open communication, and employee voice. That is factors that directly affect mental health and performance. Sustainable HR practice like flexible schedule and shared decision making boost motivation and job satisfaction. Employee autonomy and involvement lead to better performance, but must be balanced with proper support. We also explore how digital tools influence this dynamic. Mental health programs now go beyond stress workshop to include ongoing support like counseling and peer groups. And then the more effective, most like long-term data and industry-specific insights. Our research focus on creating scalable, tech-supported solutions that work across sectors. In summary, employee well-being is essential for performance. It's shaped by leadership, culture, HR practice, and autonomy. To maximize impact, organizations need flexible, long-term strategy grounded in current realities.
Moving on to the theoretical framework, employee well-being, which is the independent variable, is measured by mental, emotional, and physical health of the employees at work, and this is measured using a Likert scale, assessing stress, resilience, work-life balances, and job satisfaction. The dependent variable is employee performance, and this is measured and translated into their effectiveness and efficiency with which employees achieve job goals. and this is measured through the reviews of the supervisors and or self-reported reports about productivity. The moderating variable is organizational support, and this is employees' perception of how much their organization support them as an employee, and this is measured using the POS, perceived organizational support scale, which is covering fairness, recognition, emotional support, and available resources. These variables are based on their strong influence on work and behavior outcomes. And according to the JDR model, well-being enhances performance as a personal resource, and this effect is amplified when employees feel supported, valued, and recognized by their organization. So even without such support, when they have high well-being, this may still not translate into strong performance, which aligns with the theory of perceived organizational support. The study expects a positive relationship between employee well-being and performance, with higher well-being leading into increased motivation and productivity. Organizational support is anticipated to moderate the relationship, enhancing performance when support is high and weakening it when support is low. Referring to the picture in the slide, the null hypothesis is that employee well-being has no effect on employee performance, and the first alternative hypothesis is that employee well-being has a positive effect on employee performance, whereas the second alternative hypothesis is that organizational support moderates the relationship between employee well-being and employee performance, such that the relationship is stronger when organization support is high.
So let's begin with the methodology. This research aimed to explore how employee well-being impacts organizational productivity. We use a mixed method approach, combining both primary data from survey and secondary data from organizational and academic sources. To ensure measurable result, we use quantitative analysis. So our primary data came from a structured questionnaire based on previous research. It includes three sections, which first demographic like gender, age, and department. Second, employee well-being, covering job satisfaction, stress level, and work-life balance. Third, perceived organizational productivity. We use a 5-point Likert scale from strongly disagree number 1 to strongly agree number 5. So for our secondary data, we gather information from organizational report like annual and CSR report, HR data such as absenteeism and turnover rates, and academic databases like Google Scholar. We focus on actual KPIs related to productivity as well as any documented employee well-being initiative. So our sample includes 102 employees from medium to large organization in Malaysia, particularly in the services and manufacturing sectors. We use stratified random sampling to ensure balanced representation across department and job levels. To qualify, respondents need to have worked in their organization for at least 6 months. For data analysis, we use SPS software, which descriptive analysis help us understand basic trends and demographic. Second, correlation show us how well being and productivity are related. Third, regression analysis help us predict how one variable might affect another. Lastly, ANOVA was used to compare group differences like between gender or department. We analyzed both independent and dependent variables and set our confidence level at 95% for accuracy. So in summary, this methodology was designed to be reliable, balanced, and evidence-based, using the right tools and sampling methods to study and the real impact of employee well-being on workplace productivity. That's all. Thank you.
So now I will elaborate more on our data analysis and findings regarding our research. So as you can see here on the table, in terms of demographic, which is the gender, you can see that out of 101 respondents, 79.2% were female respondents, which are 80 of them, and 20.8% were male respondents. So this indicates a strong female majority in our sample. This gender distribution could influence perspectives in the findings, especially if the research relates to employee behavior, preferences, or roles influenced by gender dynamics. So the next one in the demographic area is the age group of our respondents. So out of 101 respondents, the majority are aged between their early 20s to early 30s. So, based on this, it shows that our data skews heavily toward a younger audience, with over 80% of participants under the age of 35. This demonstrates that our survey method reached more students and early career individuals, with a majority of them being aged under 25 to 34 years old. The results are particularly effective towards millennial and Gen Z perspectives. Their perceptions tend to reflect on work performance, comfort, and safety in the workplace, evolving values on work life balance, culture, and tradition. The high receptivity to innovation and entrepreneurship, the findings are rich in insights from young, predominantly female voices, but they may not fully capture the perspectives of older generations or male participants, particularly in contexts where experience, tradition, or gender roles play a significant part in the workplace. This next one is focusing on the departments where most of our respondents work. So, the distribution of respondents across various departments reveal a meaningful cross-section of organizational functions with notable representation from human resources, administration, photography, planning, and engineering departments. This concentration suggests that the feedback gathered primarily reflects operational, technical, and employee-oriented perspectives. Conversely, departments such as legal, IT, manufacturing are underrepresented, which may limit the depth of insight into areas like compliance, innovation, and branding. Nonetheless, the inclusion of both core and support functions, ranging from finance and human resources to communication and planning, enhances the functional diversity of the data, allowing for a more holistic understanding of interdepartmental dynamics within the organization. This diversity supports the validity of the findings, although future research could benefit from a more proportionate representation to ensure the views of niche or strategic units are equally considered. Furthermore, this next graph shows the number of years employees have worked in their respective organizations. As you can see, the majority of our respondents, approximately one third, have been with their current organization for less than 1 year, indicating a large proportion of newly recruited or recently transitioned employees. This pattern may reflect current hiring trends, business expansion, or a high staff turnover rate. Meanwhile, a notable portion have worked between 1 to 3 years, suggesting a cohort of employees in the early to mid stages of organizational socialization and role development. In contrast, very few respondents have worked between 4 to 6 years, potentially pointing to a retention gap or career mobility during that period. Employees with more than 6 years of service make up a smaller yet significant group, representing the organization's institutional memory and long term stability. This tenure distribution highlights both opportunities and challenges in employee engagement, onboarding processes, and leadership pipeline development. We now look at the Bayesian ANOVA estimates of coefficients. Starting off is the disagree scale, which is 2, where the posterior mean is 3.0 with a wide credible interval ranging from 1.787 to 4.213. This suggests uncertainty where respondents who disagreed about their contribution still gave a neutral or mixed response about supervisor support. Next up is neutral, which is scale number 3. The posterior mean here is 3.36 with a tighter interval ranging from 3.017 to 3.703. This indicates that neutral respondents tend to lean slightly positive about their supervisors. Moving on is the agree, which is scale number 4. Posterior mean here is 3.673 and a very narrow interval ranging from 3.435 to 3.911. This reflects a clear and consistent belief in supportive supervision among those who feel they contribute to goals. Finally is strongly agree, which is skill number 5, where the posterior mean is 4.409 with interval 4.043 to 4.775. A strong alignment between perceived contribution and strong supervisory support with a slightly higher variance, which is 0.035, but the interval still indicates a clear positive relationship. Bayesian ANOVA revealed a consistent upward trend in perceived supervisory support, with increasing agreement that one contributes meaningfully to organizational goals. Respondents who strongly agreed demonstrated the highest posterior mean, which is 4.409, and a credible clearly centered in a positive range, suggesting a robust belief in supportive leadership among the most engaged employees. The Pearson correlation analysis was conducted to figure out the strength and direction of the relationship between the independent variable, which is employee well-being, and the dependent variable, which is organizational productivity. The results shown here indicate that there is a strong positive correlation between the two variables. The correlation coefficient of R is 0.74746, which expresses that when employee well-being increases, there will also be an increase in productivity. The relationship tested to be statistically significant, which is P, which is less than 0.001, implies a very low probability that this strong association occurred by chance. The Pearson correlation analysis provides evidence that employee well-being and productivity are meaningfully connected to one another. Therefore, since the p-value is less than 0.001, we can reject the null hypothesis and accept the alternative hypothesis. And finally, we have the linear regression model analysis, which is used to examine the extent to which well-being can predict and has a relationship to productivity. The regression coefficients express that employee well-being is a significant predictor of productivity. The unstandardized coefficient, which is B, for well-being is 0.608, indicating that when well-being increases by 1 unit, productivity increases by approximately 0.61 units, considering other factors constant. The standardized beta at coefficient is 0.746, meaning that the effect size is strong. Furthermore, the t-value is 11.189 and the p-value is less than 0.001, which confirms that the predictive relationship is statistically significant. These results highlight the importance of employee well-being as a determinant of organizational output. The overall fit of the regression model was evaluated using the model summary and ANOVA results. The model provided an R-squared value of 0.556, suggesting that approximately 55.6% of the variance in productivity can be explained by variations in employee well-being. This implies a moderately strong model fit. In addition, the ANOVA table shows a significant F statistic of 125.189, meaning that the regression model as a whole significantly predicts productivity levels better than a model with no predictors. These findings allow us to realize that employee well-being is not only associated with positively with productivity, but could also be used as a statistically significant explanatory variable for predicting it. Though the use of various analysis methods and techniques, the data concluded to the p-value being less than 0.001. With this, we can confidently reject the null hypothesis and accept the alternative hypothesis.